Low in 8. The athletes on their marks. And away they go in the 4x100 meter relay. Each of the 4 athletes races one leg, and then they hand over the baton to the next member in the changeover zone. And at the moment, Singapore looking decent as they make their way down the track. Thailand looking very strong as well. Malaysia too. Philippines wanting to challenge. Singapore still in it as they come toward the second bend, but Thailand is leading the way. Malaysia look really good just on their inside as well, and Indonesia looking good running in lane 2 now. Brilliant bend having been run, and Malaysia find themselves trailing Indonesia, who are in front. Thailand coming back strongly here, but it's Indonesia who are going to romp to victory. Singapore coming back to fight for a bronze medal. Can they claim it? Maybe they do, just. But the battle for gold, so very close. Thailand and Indonesia going head to head. How brilliant, how close, how exciting, how exhilarating. And then the battle for bronze, well, between Malaysia and Singapore. Photo finish required again in this session, dare I say. Well, the Indonesian support were on their feet. And you can understand why. But Thailand closing so incredibly quickly. To see Thailand beaten in the 4x100 meter relay at the SEA Games is almost unthinkable, unless they drop the baton. So for Indonesia, this is massive. Technical officials consulting. But how close is this? This is running the first bend. Singapore looked really strong after the opening leg. Malaysia too. Thailand just a little down, a little uncomfortable in the changeover. Good changeovers from Singapore. But then this changeover was exceptional. Indonesia came out on top. Malaysia struggling just a little. Watch the final changeover. Indonesia straight into it. Malaysia, Thailand a little more sluggish. Singapore really good. And then Thailand closing so quickly. I think Indonesia just held on. That was from the initial viewpoint. Have Thailand got it on the line? It's Indonesia gold. And it is bronze to Singapore. They just put Malaysia. Shanti Pereira in amongst the Singaporean athletes who've come as support for Team Singapore, but Indonesia claimed gold brilliantly on a day that's seen much success for Indonesia in track and field. Londa's gold already in the women's long jump, and now this. Right on the line. How close for Thailand? The last team to claim gold other than Thailand in the SEA Games was Indonesia in 2011. And they've got themselves on top of the podium here with a remarkable run and some really clean, neat baton changeovers. We're still waiting for the official results, but there they come. Indonesia are champions of the men's 4x100 meter relay. They claim gold, 39.11 seconds. They've done it running from lane 2. And Singapore, how about that for a closing leg, an anchor leg of this 400 meter track. These are the athletes who will battle for gold, silver and bronze. Felisberto Dedesh, Jan Wibo, Vasanan Subramaniam of Malaysia. So Roy Yong of Singapore will go as well. So to Agus Prayogo, one of the veterans of distance running and a former marathon champion here, as well as the current marathon champion after winning the marathon title in Cambodia, Kiran Tuntavat. double gold medalist already. 4X100M, Sun Naing, Sunny Wagdos as well goes for Philippines. The 29-year-old is usually a 1,500 meter and 5,000 meter runner. Sean Gobun here, Okrohit, Ricky Martin Luther Simbolon of Indonesia, the national champion. Sun Dik Sue, Richard Solano, Mohammed Iqbal Hassan, Mohammed Kamal Hussein, and Quoc Loat Do of Vietnam. The men's 10,000 meter final underway. 25 laps of the track, 6¼ miles if you prefer. Whose name will be etched in history here? It is going to be a very good tactical battle, I imagine, between a handful of runners. Do not discount Agus Prayogo or So Ruyong from Indonesia and Singapore respectively. Two runners who have marathon experience and have brought that success to the track. But they won't be sitting near the front of the race in the early stages. That's almost certain. They'll bide their time and find a way into the race as and when required. We tend to see positive running from athletes in the 10,000 meter final. We do see some interesting tactics that play out. Athletes that sometimes sit and kick, although for the longer distance events, what you see is even splitting tends to be the way the runners try to master the race. That means consistently running the same time every single lap of the 25 that they will do duty around this track here at the Morodok Peko National Stadium. Relatively even pacing is what you want throughout the race. Don't read too much into the positions the athletes are in right at this moment. Sun Naing of Myanmar just leading the way, the Olympian who ran the 5 big game. Now 32, vastly experienced over this distance. He's gone sub 30 minutes 30 seconds for Myanmar over this distance, and he'll need that if he's to challenge for a podium place. So we're still looking at nearly half an hour out on track for these athletes. The pace certainly isn't blistering. And what you will see in the closing stages, no doubt, is a sprint finish from whoever is challenging for the medal positions. It's not quite a sit and kick strategy, but it is still fairly dramatic, and there is still a great deal of speed involved. This is all relatively speaking. You'll see a pronounced upswing in speed in the closing stages. But what a race in prospect. Who is going to storm to victory? 15 men, one will rise to conquer all. At the moment it's Sun Naing of Myanmar who is leading the way. Sunny Wagdos, positioned in 4th at the moment, is looking really strong and will be happy to be in the position that he is in. Tan Dik Sue of Myanmar just trying to stick with his compatriot Sun Naing, while Nguyen Quoc An of Vietnam is tucked into 3rd. Okrohit of Cambodia, one of 2 Cambodians in the race, Yan Vipol the other, sitting at the back of that lead group. Simbolon of
Indonesia now making a little move up the pack, just getting himself into a more comfortable position at third, comfortable with his pace. These athletes will just find a good rhythm and tempo for the bulk of the 25 laps that they will cover. There is no bold strategy that we're seeing from any one athlete in the 10,000 meters. Nobody bolting off into a very comfortable lead. Ricky Martin, Luther, Simbalon. These two look like they've got the gold and silver wrapped up. Sway Wagdos, who is being lapped now for Prayogo. A massive ask to try to work his way back into contention to challenge for the gold medal. There'll be a battle for bronze, but this battle for gold is heating up very nicely. Coming around the second bend on this 400-meter track. 500 meters to go now. Who is going to make a move? So Roy Young looks to make a move around the outside. Simbalon sees him and decides to get going himself. Both have energy. Simbalon is slightly quicker over the last lap. If he puts the hammer down, they take the bell as the half-hour mark comes up on the stadium clock, and it's Simbalon who has led the way for much of this race. He ran his own race here, who is looking to streak away, and So Roy-Young is not going with him. Has he got something left to challenge in the closing meters? Just doesn't have the pace to go with the Indonesian down the back straight. But they are finishing very strongly, both these runners. But it is Simbalon who has the higher back-end speed and is looking to prove it here. The marathoner is getting left behind, but he's still going to medal, and he's going to win a very fine silver medal at this race, at this rate. But the gold medal is going to be claimed by Ricky Martin Luther Simbalon. The Indonesian national champion is going to run through a very fine gold medal in the men's 10,000 meter final. Simbalon is the champion, 31.08. Singapore's So Roy-Young finishes second. Superb sportsmanship in the race, sporting spirit. These runners coming through the finish line, having all been lapped by these two. A remarkable race by Simbalon, and Sway of Myanmar finishes in bronze medal position, the first athletics medalist for Myanmar at the SEA Games of Cambodia 2023. He will look for an Indonesian flag, but he is a champion, and all we're looking at Agus Prayogo as being the Indonesian who would challenge most likely for the gold medal. It's this man who has upset all to conquer all. Felisberto Dedesh coming around the corner. Man from Timor-Leste, a former medalist in this event. Coming to the finish line, but praise for all those. Prayogo is among those who celebrates with the medalists. Very proud of his compatriot, it seems. 37-year-old Prayogo celebrating with